Thank you for tuning into Natty News Daily Weekly, where we cover the latest ongoings in natural bodybuilding. If you see a cool story you think we should cover, please send it our way, and maybe we'll include it in the next episode. And if you like what we're doing and would like to support us, please consider checking out one of our sponsors. Our sponsor, Core Nutritionals, for all your supplement needs. Code Natty News Daily, as well as GymPin. If you want to add weight to the machines in your gym, you're running out of room, check out GymPin. Also, code Natty News Daily. Enjoy the episode.
All right, guys, it's James back with Natty News Daily Weekly. And this week we've got a ton to cover. So I'm just going to jump right into it. No banter. So we're covering, you can see here, Mr. David Berger. We're covering IPE Worlds that just happened. There's a lot of shows that happen. I chose the ones I wanted to cover. It's my segment. Sorry about it. And then we're going to have a couple discussion pieces, hopefully, here. So you can see a couple different extra tabs up top, more than the three we've been covering. So just a quick shout out, David Berger here, WMBF Pro. If you're not familiar with who he is the president of the WMBF Ukraine. So was promoting and president of the Federation affiliate before becoming a pro and has now such earned it in Poland. So great win. I mean, he's had a pro worthy physique. Just the cards hadn't fallen just yet. So if you haven't already, follow him. Great guy. We interviewed him on Natty News Daily. So check out that episode. I'm not sure what number. I should probably look at these things before I record, but you get the idea, right? And we're going to move on because we got some big stuff to cover, like I said. So IPE Worlds. This is shared from Liam Shredder. If you haven't followed him, dude is probably the leanest person, probably top 5, arguably leanest person on the planet, and has been consistently for decades. So follow him. Great athlete, consistently places well in the IPE Worlds, which he continues to compete with. This post specifically, I wanted to share just the show production quality. Backstage looks good. The lighting looks fantastic. You've got the contrast between the dark and the light, and there's not too much going on in the background. I mean, this looks beautiful, right? Honestly. And this is from an iPhone recording, right? So this isn't even like the professional quality stuff. This is a video from a phone, shaky, far away. And you can just tell that these guys are shredded and that the lighting is spot on. So props to the IPE, run the worlds pretty well. Love this. Love to see it. And the next couple stories are going to dive into it even more. So stay tuned here. This is the top 5. This is from Carl Sievert. I've covered him a couple different times. You can see the enormous guy on the left of the photo there. He was top 5, didn't take it, was, I believe, 3rd, 4th. Either way, this top 5 could jump into any show. And I mean, come on, look at these guys. Anytime you have cross striations and quads across the board in your top 5, you know that's a stacked class, right? So even to break into this top 5 is a feat amongst itself. And these athletes are going to rival any athletes across the world, which is kind of the theme of this discussion that I want to have here, which you'll see in the next couple posts. But obviously, we recognize Bada does compete across multiple federations, does have multiple world titles here. Carl, we've covered, great athlete there. You can look at the tags. These guys are all fantastic athletes. So just wanted to show this. And again, iPhone photo, and you're seeing sartoriuses and cross striations, and this is arguably like a blurry iPhone photo. It just still looks ridiculous. So one to keep an eye on, IPE, if you're in the US and you want to compete with some big dogs, at least at the pro level. All right, moving on here. Again, IPE Worlds. This is Dozy. We've interviewed Dozy. Fantastic athlete, big dude. He's like 6'2", filled out his frame pretty well, competes with the classics. We're giving a little bit of love to the classic guys. Now, I'm going to say something here that's going to sound slightly controversial. I'm going to say something here that sounds like I'm discrediting his win, and it's not, because I respect the heck out of this guy. He's a great athlete. He works hard. Look at the caption. Best poser in the world. Number 2 in the world. Is it? Is it? Now, again, better athlete than I'll ever be in my life. And I'm going to give him some credit by showing some comparisons here, because this is not, you've already seen the bodybuilding. The classic was no joke either, right? Very good title to win. But with the separation of federations and with there being no cohesion can we really call some of these world shows? Because beyond Liam, I'm not too aware of that many international athletes to compete with the IPE, or even if there's offerings beyond. I know there's an affiliate in Canada, and obviously Liam travels over from the UK. So can you truly call this a world's show if it's 90% domestic athletes? I'm not sure. But this is the problem with the way the sport is right now. We have IPE worlds, we have WNBF worlds, we have PNBA Mr. Olympia, we have, everyone has worlds, DFAC worlds, right? It's just, where do we draw the line and how do we differentiate, right? All of these worlds titles are fantastic. These are things that are hard to come by, almost impossible for most athletes to come by, right? So it's not to take credit away from the athletes that have the titles. It's more just a discussion piece on where do we go as a sport where we don't have 5 world champion classic physique, 5 world champ bodybuilders at any given year. I'm not sure the answer. All right. So, like I said, I want to give him credit though. See Dozy on the right there. You got Jeremiah Wright on the left, who won Worlds. This is his second time as IPE Worlds Classic. And this last year, not too long ago, third time Mr. America Classic. And then in the middle there, Darian Moore as your runner-up as Mr. America Classic. So these top 3, these guys are fantastic athletes. So like I said, that title coming to in this show, in this IPE Worlds show, no discredit, no disservice to them. Like, they are fantastic athletes by any means and could compete in multiple federations and place very well in multiple federations. But just a discussion here, right? I want to know what you guys think. What do we do with the naming of these shows? What do we do with the titles? Is there an asterisk on certain worlds and not others? I'm unsure. And just as a little caveat, look at these guys. These guys are classic. I could end that sentence right there, right? The argument that natural bodybuilding and classic physique don't belong together, I think there's room for both within this sport. And it can be done in such a way that it doesn't take away athletes from the bodybuilding ranks in certain shows, if that's the concern, which I know it is with some federations. But look at these guys. They're great bodybuilders, but they have the flow, they have the muscle bellies, they have the posing that so many modern natural bodybuilders do not have. Where, and I've said this many times and I'm going to stick to it, a very talented classic physique athlete conditioned appropriately will be a very good natural bodybuilder. But the same cannot be said vice versa. A very good natural bodybuilder that doesn't diet as hard, and that's, again, no disservice to these guys because, look, they're shredded, right? So I guess the way to say that would be a open bodybuilder that's natural, that diets to the standard of classic physique may not place well in classic physique, depending on their posing, depending on the flow of their body, depending on their proportions, muscle bellies, all these things. So there is a differentiation and there should be judged appropriately, right? That's just my stance. That's my soapbox. Moving on. A little bit of a different post for you guys. So this is from Dynamite D. He's on the more enhanced side of the sport, but I think there's some rules here that anyone should abide by, right? So you can read through these as I talk. It pretty much states that there needs to be some level of stability in your life before you prep. And we've all seen it, the individual that is going through some stuff. Their relationships are bad. They lost their job. They're struggling here or there, and they want to use prep to refocus their training, or they want to use prep to kind of turn a blind eye to what's going on in the world or their life. Maybe not the best thing. Same thing from a financial standpoint. You really got to make sure your ducks in a row before you jump into a contest prep. I've done it myself, unfortunately, where I've jumped in positions where I probably shouldn't have, i.e. grad school, around times of moves, things like that. It never ends well. Right? We all know there's going to be side effects to a successful contest prep, at least at the high levels, and definitely in the open bodybuilding divisions or the leaner divisions. So if you are thinking about competing, take a look at these rules and see if they have been checked off on your list. Have you been able to stick to a strict diet for 2 months? Because it's going to have to get stricter. Are your finances in alignment, right? You don't want to go bankrupt over a hobby. And that's what this is for us. Right? If you have emotional or psychological issues you're fighting through, those are only going to be amplified with prep. You will not hide them. You cannot. They will come to the surface. And then bonus there, don't make like life-altering decisions during prep. I've moved twice during a prep. Was it because of prep? I don't know. But just not great. Let's push some of those projects and some of those tasks and commitments to the side, maybe if we are prepping, and just wait till a clear mind prevails, or at least have a group around you where you can bounce ideas off of. That's what Leroy and Dan are for me. That's what we were for Leroy. It's, you got to have that inner circle that you can trust to say, like, that's a dumb idea, James. Do not do that. Right. So if you guys like the episode, tune in next week. We'll be coming out every single week. We are the #1 source for natural bodybuilding and current events within the sport of natural bodybuilding on a global scale. So like, subscribe, comment, share, spread the love of natural bodybuilding. See you guys in the next one.